Stranger Things season 5. Uh, mm. So, I watched Stranger Things season 5 the night it came out. Okay, I watched all 4 episodes. And to say the least, I was underwhelmed. Very much so. It just. It didn't have the magic that the first season had, obviously. And I mean, some of the other seasons didn't have the magic that the first season had either. But, like, this is gonna be a ramble if it wasn't clear already. I didn't watch the previous seasons, I didn't rewatch them. I felt like I shouldn't have to. You know what I mean? I felt like I shouldn't have to, but also the show's been going for like 10 years, and this is only the 5th season, which is already a problem in and of itself.
My problem with the gap for the new Stranger Things season is not that all the actors are too old, although all the actors are too old. My issue is the fact that I cannot remember if I'm supposed to know something.
It's unfortunate, especially because this is going to be the last season. So let me talk about some of my issues. Okay, these were the thoughts I had literally immediately as I was watching the 4 episodes. I haven't rewatched the 4 episodes. I don't know if I'm going to. I mean, I might before Christmas rolls around, but yeah. Let me talk about everybody who's annoying me. Okay, so the first episode we get some like half-baked sort of recap, radio edit situation from, what's Maya Hawke's character's name? Robin. From Robin. And I wasn't a fan. I didn't really care for that. Also, I kind of forgot how we left off the last season, how like, you know, the Upside Down basically cracked open the whole earth. And then they just brush over that like, oh, they put some metal down. And I'm like, what? They put some metal down?
Are you not embarrassed? This is really embarrassing.
Like, I understand that the military would move quick in that scenario, but also, because you're telling me like that cracked through like the whole town, like multiple cracks, and no one just looked out their window like, the pits of hell just opened up. Like, nobody. Not only that, but then we see, you know, our core group at school. Dustin is obviously going through a hard time, understandably so. Understandably so. He seems to be the only one that actually cares that Eddie's dead, which is insane to me because I'm like, was Eddie not all of your guys' friends? He also sacrificed himself to help save you guys, and nobody cares that he's dead except for Dustin?
Yeah, right.
Okay. That being said, we see the core group at school, and look, none of them seem like friends. And I understand they've all gone through things individually and whatnot, and I mean, we did see it when they entered high school, how, you know, they were kind of focused on different things. They are friends by circumstance. It's not that their values and stuff match up still, it's like they are friends because they have to save the world. Which I don't mind, as long as by the end of this show, whoever's still alive and stuff kind of like part their separate ways, because that's the only thing that makes sense. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't really make sense that they would be as close as what they were in season 1. Like, a lot has happened. And I understand why Lucas is the way he is. Like, why he's acting the way he's acting. Because he literally watched his girlfriend get crumpled up in front of him like a piece of paper, and he couldn't do anything about it. So it's understandable that this man, he's been going through stuff. Which, let me talk about him for a second. So, I've seen, I think like 1 or 2 other people on TikTok talk about Lucas's hair. And, you know, how it's not as clean cut as it was before when he was trying to be popular, trying to be the jock. And it makes sense now that his hair is, I mean, it doesn't look bad in the sense that it looks unkempt. It's just, it's grown out. He's not lining it up. He's not trying to look fresh and crispy. Why? Because he doesn't care anymore. Why? Because he watched his girlfriend get crumpled up like a piece of paper in front of him. And so it kind of makes sense to me that he's just like checked out You know what I mean? Like, he's very much giving, like, the I don't really care that much energy, and I get it. I get it. And the actor, Caleb, he even was talking about his hair in an interview that I saw, and I like that he explained exactly what I feel like other, you know, black people had thought, that he just didn't care anymore. Like, he's on a different journey now.
This season was my favorite hair for Lucas's story arc. In season 4, we see like the clean cut flat top, and then in this season we kind of see like a rough version of that. It represents Lucas's transformation from season 4 to season 5 and what he's going through mentally.
Steve, I get him fighting with Dusty Bun a little bit, but also I don't get it. I'm like, he's really going through it, because I think he really looked up to Eddie as, like, you know, this weird guy who's like cool with his weirdness. And I feel like he gave Dustin and the others that comfort to just be okay with being strange. That being said, I feel like Steve is being way too hard on Dusty Bun. Also, when the whole gang is like, okay, they're gonna go for a crawl, and they're like, Dustin, like, where is he? He's not here, blah, blah, blah. They call up his mom doesn't know where he is, and then they're just like, well, we gotta proceed. You guys know that he's been having a hard time. Why would you not go looking for him? Especially when you know that he's responsible and would try and show up if he could. So I'm like, why did you guys not go looking for his ass? I don't get it. I'm like, is he your friend or not? This is what I'm saying about the whole, like, none of these people seem like friends anymore. Otherwise you would care. Right? Like, hello? Anyway. Joyce is kind of annoying me right now. I'm like, girl. First of all, she obviously hates her older son, because the way she does not want Will going anywhere or stepping over a crack without her approval, but she's sending her other kid to, like, go do all this other dangerous stuff, but not Will. And, like, I get it, like, he's the one who's connected to the Upside Down, not his brother, but the way she's willing to put her other kid's life on the line is criminal. And then Hopper, when he's in the Upside Down and he basically has like a, he's ready to end it all if necessary, you know what I'm saying, with everything that's strapped on him, I'm like, that just doesn't feel like Hopper. You know, like, he was in like a Russian prison and he still fought till the last moment. But now, season just started and he's ready to, like, end it all if necessary. I'm like, what are we doing? What are we doing? Get it together. Also, I was like, I don't understand why 11 was just so sure that they had Vecna, like, in their little upside down facility. Like, I'm like, why would you think they would have him? Like, I feel like she didn't really have a real reason. She was just like, I just feel it. And then, of course, they don't have him because, like, it's that easy to catch him. Which, let's talk about, what's her name? Millie? So, Holly, right? When she has this, like, imaginary friend that's helping her or whatever, I'm like, first of all, I don't know why anybody would believe that it's an imaginary anybody. I'm like, you guys have seen such weird things over the past couple of years. I don't know why you wouldn't be concerned about this much sooner, but whatever. Like, they play the whole thing being Henry as almost like a like, surprise, it's Henry. It's like, we knew. I feel like it was common sense. I was like, who else would it have been? It was not a surprise that it was Henry who was this imaginary friend. I think more of the surprise was, why is he going after Holly? Like, I felt like we didn't really see her a whole lot in the other seasons. Like, she wasn't a main character that mattered. And now they're trying to make her matter. But I was like, if we're going with, like, the stealing kids thing, I mean, I think Erica's a little bit too smart to get stolen. But it would have made more sense, honestly, if they made Erica be the one to get taken. Just because we know Erica, she's beloved, like, we see her, and she's the only younger sibling in the show that, like, matters. You know what I mean? So I'm like, it would have been more impactful if that was the case. Also, the fact, okay, after Will's parents, like, you know, get bodied by one of the Demogorgon situations, wouldn't everybody else in the group be more scared that their families are next? You know what I mean? Like, nobody seems concerned. And so I would think that Lucas would then be afraid, like, oh my god, Vecna's taken younger siblings now. I have a younger sibling, and my parents, exist, like, but it's like that thought is not even in anybody's mind for some reason. Because that's the first thing I would have been thinking about. I'm like, oh my gosh, like, they got to his family. They could get to any of our families, because Vecna's mad at all of us, right? So it's like, maybe this is a revenge thing, because they don't know what's going on yet. And then when they do find out that, like, Vecna's, like, taking kids and whatever, and then the military gets involved, because they realize the same thing. So I guess they're trying to lure him out. So they're like, we'll take all the kids and just have them in our little, like, bunker situation for a few days, and hopefully that'll do the trick. And then the gang is like, you know what? We gotta get these kids back. We gotta save them. And I'm like, save them from who? The military or Vecna? Because either way, I'm like, I just didn't really understand. Maybe I was checking out because it was like 1 a.m, but I was like, I don't understand what their plan was with that. They're like, okay, we're gonna save the kids from the military. But then what? Like, where were they really planning on bringing them? I know that they were like gonna put them in the truck in like the padded room, but I'm like, for how long? Also, I'm like, are those the only kids in town? I don't think so. I feel like there must be a few more kids in town. Also, I'm like, what if Vecna just switches up the game plan? If he had to. Like, okay, so you took all the kids, and I'm gonna just look through Will's eyes and see where y'all are at. Like, maybe I'll tap into Erica. See? You should be worried. I don't know, I'm just thinking, like, other scenarios. Like, I don't know why these people are just, like, not more scared at this point. I also am, like, not a fan that they, like, keep splitting up. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of it. When Steve drives into the Upside Down, that was not necessary. Like, y'all ain't gonna find Holly. Like, if 11 can't find her and she's been down there for, a good 12 hours, what makes you think you guys can find her? The only good thing that came out of that so far is Dusty Bun realized that the wall thing is circling the town. That's the only good thing that has come out of that thus far.
So since when did the Upside Down get so cozy? I swear they removed all the danger from the Upside Down in this latest season. It literally went from being this barren landscape that is the equivalent of hell itself, to now being treated as like an out-of-town trip for the entire main cast. There's like no fear of entering the Upside Down anymore. In previous seasons, not even previous seasons, in just the season before, if you were entering the Upside Down, you were leaving with at least one casualty on your hand.
I also get, like, Robin's connection with Will and, like, helping him through this hard time finding out his sexuality, or not finding out his sexuality, it seems like he knows, but hopefully confessing eventually to Mike, which they cannot end up together. Okay. Mike and Will cannot end up together. It would make no sense. And this is coming from someone who thinks that everything is better when it's fruity. I really believe that. And let me tell you, this is not going to be better if they end up together. It wouldn't make any sense because up until this point, Mike has been obsessed with 11. Obsessed with her. So for him to like switch up and suddenly be like, oh, Will likes me? Okay, I like you too. It's like, no. And I know some people are trying to be like, the signs have always been there that he cares for Will. And I'm like, he might care for Will, but I don't think he's in love with him. Like, so if they end up together, it just won't make any sense. It won't make any sense. I think he'll accept Will's feelings, but not reciprocate them. I know people want to be like, oh, the signs are always there, but I'm just like, not really. The signs were there that they're friends, not that he has romantic feelings for him. I will say though, it is kind of funny, like, Will like sort of being flirty with Mike every now and again.
In real life, you're more like a sorcerer, because your powers don't come from a book of spells, they're innate.
Boy, yeah!
Seeing that Max is like alive, sort of, or whatever, is, that's good to know, I guess. And her, I guess, going to use Holly to help her get out of here. I don't know. I don't really have much to say about it yet because we don't really see a whole lot of her yet. Also, people are trying to say how like Hopper and Joyce like going to school at the same time as Henry isn't really adding up, and it probably isn't because the Duffer Brothers probably thought of it later on. Just like when people were trying to like connect that, I don't know, one of the previous seasons, how Will's birthday was on the same day as something else or whatever, and the Duffer Brothers just like forgot. They just forgot that they picked that date, so they had to like change it. Anywho, so I'm like, it might not make sense, or it might have not made sense before, but maybe they're gonna try and make it make sense. I don't know. Maybe he was a boy genius that skipped a couple grades or something, and that's why he was, you know, in school with Joyce and Hopper. Maybe he's a smart guy. He's a smart guy. Doo 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 doo. That being said, the acting. We'll talk about the acting, then we'll talk about the dialogue. So the acting, again, with like the main core friend group, is just giving lackluster. I think Dusty Bun is giving it his all. I think Will is giving it his all, although I don't know if Noah's that great of an actor. I haven't seen him act in anything else, so I don't know. Seemingly, he seems like he's trying the most. Probably because this is obviously like Will's season. But like, Mike is checked out. And I knew Phil. What's his name? Finn? Whatever. I knew he was checked out when him and Nancy and Lucas are at the hospital after their parents, you know, are in critical condition and their sister is missing and they're sitting in like the waiting room and Will is just checked out. Like, you almost became an orphan. Your parents are laying in the hospital and your sister is missing. And this man looks like he doesn't really care. I just don't think he's putting his heart into the acting. Like, I understand why Lucas is checked out, like I said, I kind of get it. Although I will say, I do think Caleb is also, like, a little bit lackluster with his performance. And don't even get me started on Millie Bobby Brown. Oh, let me talk about her for a second. I think Millie is a little bit checked out. Like, I kind of don't think her heart is really in it. So when she gets into, like, the Upside Down, finds Hopper, like, whatever, they're running around down there together. I'm like, why is she still talking like a 10-year-old?
I closed the gate. I can break through. Battery. Anything else?
Hey!
They won't. And we'll be back to the first square.
Square one.
He peed on it.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
Like, when Hopper is asking her questions or whatever the case, she's literally speaking as if she's still 12 years old or 10 years old. And I'm like, why is she talking like that? And I don't really get it, because at this point she is somewhat educated. She does go to school. She knows how it is to be outside of a laboratory and to be around friends and family. So I'm like, I don't really understand why she's speaking like this. Also, the outfit they got Millie posted up in, like the gray sweatsuit with the red shorts on top, like, I get it. It's an 80s thing, but I feel like they're doing it less because it's an 80s thing and more to just cover her up so that she looks younger, which is not working, by the way. But it feels like they're trying to cover up her body as much as possible so that we all still think that she's like 13, even though we know she's like a 21-year-old woman with a child and a husband. Which again is the very obvious problem with taking so long to film in between seasons with people who are supposed to be children, because obviously none of them look like kids anymore. Like, they are giving grown. Let me go back to talking about the dialogue, because I don't think I mentioned it, even though I said I was going to. The dialogue is terrible. Especially amongst, like, the core group. It's a lot of... When Nancy and Mike and Lucas are in the hospital in the waiting room, and Mike is sitting there thinking, like, what if, like, Holly's, like, imaginary friend or whatever, Mr. What's-It, is not really imaginary? What if he's real? And I'm like, yeah, you should have tapped into that sooner, but... He's like, and he's having this whole epiphany, but it just feels like it's not really an epiphany. Like, it feels like he's trying to explain to the audience. And I'm like, we already knew it was Vecna. Like, you're figuring this out late, babe.
I was thinking about something that Lucas said earlier, about how he doesn't believe in coincidences anymore, and because when I went to go pick her up from school today, she said that Mr. Whatsit told her there were monsters in Hawkins, and he warned her that these monsters, they were coming for her.
It just feels like they think the audience is really stupid and they have to explain every little thing to us. I don't like the dialogue. It's very cringy. And also, with some of the dialogue too, I'm just like, how old are they supposed to be? Because I honestly don't know anymore. Because it feels like some of the dialogue feels very like, haha, like, we're 12. Like, things that 12-year-olds would find funny. But I'm like, but they're in high school, so they're not 12. I'm like, I think they're supposed to be like 16, right? And these are not things that 16-year-olds would say. Like, the dick joke. What was that?
Hit the dick. Yep. Let's just hope it's not too hard. If it is, I'll soften it.
What's going on? Y'all are going to jail! Period!
It wasn't tasteful. It was tacky. It wasn't even funny. Like, even amongst teenage boys, I don't think that joke is funny. I'm like, what? So yeah, even again with the dialogue, like, when Hopper and Eleven are in the Upside Down, and then Nancy and the crew, because Steve drove into the Upside Down, right? They're down there, and they get in touch with Hopper, and because Hopper and 11 have already come up with their own little plan to, like, infiltrate the little facility down there, you know, they're already en route to do their plan. And so when Nancy's, like, getting hyped up, okay, well, if you know how to, like, get my sister back, like, tell us. But Hopper doesn't really say anything. He doesn't even say, like, hey, me and 11, we have a plan going, we're gonna infiltrate the... Like, he doesn't even say that. It would take 2 more seconds for him to just quickly say that, but he doesn't. He just, like, leaves them in the dark, like, I think I might have something that'll help, or whatever, and then, like, ends the call. And even Nancy in the show is like, what the hell does that mean? If he knows something, why can't he just tell us? Which, exactly. Because now it's like, what? You want them to literally just sit there? You know they're not gonna do that. They're gonna get into their own trouble. And then they're gonna get more separated. Like, the whole separating of the team is just really annoying, especially when we haven't got to see them all together in, like, a long time. I also hate that, like, these 2 boys are still fighting over her. It's, like, getting old. It's like, bro, she's not gonna pick either of you in the end. So Jonathan better not show her that ring, because that's gonna be embarrassing. And Nancy is annoying. Like, I get that she's trying to be on, like, this girl boss badass shit, but it's just, like, some of the lines that she has are so just...
Right now, Santa, I swear to God, I will shoot this tracker into your potato sacks. And you know I'm a good enough shot to hit any mark, no matter how small.
Jesus.
Now set up my target.
Okay, my apologies, Miss Girrrl.
Trying too hard to be, like, 21st century girl boss. It's like, alright, we get it.
And
Now, also on TikTok, I feel like everybody is really trying to give, you know, this season a lot of leeway. I am constantly hearing creators be like, so far, I really like season 5, but, and then they name all the things that are terrible about season 5, and I'm like, that's the whole season so far. So just say you didn't like it that much. You saying, like, oh my god, it was so good, but XYZ. Like, it's okay to be critical about a show that you've invested 10 years of your life into. You know what I mean? Let's talk about all the ads. My god. I mean, I get it. Someone has to pay for this show, right? I hear every episode is very expensive, which I don't quite know if I'm seeing the budget so far. But I get it, the episodes are expensive, someone needs to pay for it, but I'm like, every 5 seconds someone's eating something and name dropping, you know, brands and stuff, and I'm like, okay. This is giving, what season was that? Season 3? With the whole, like, Coca-Cola commercial situation where they all sat in a grocery store for like 5 minutes straight just talking about new Coca-Cola. Like, not to mention, like, in real life, promotions for Stranger Things started, I swear, in like September. I feel like I saw my first Stranger Things like commercial situation in September. They've collabed with like every snack brand that exists. It's just getting out of hand. I'm like, oh my gosh. Marketing at its finest, I guess. But I also think, I feel like all this hype around Stranger Things is like building up the expectation, and so then when you're actually seeing it, these first 4 episodes were not it. They really weren't, for all the promotion that it's getting and stuff. Also, I feel like the cast, not to say that they're supposed to be having fun in the show, like it's a more dire situation than that, but I feel like they used to have more fun. However, during their like their press tour interviews, oh, they're having a blast. It's giving real friendship in real life.
Congratulations again.
Byler.
Did you give him?
Definitely
Did you
no
give him
hints.
help?
No hints.
Katie.
Byler.
Gaines is a 5 out of 10.
It was a struggle for me.
You're slandering on all.
It was a struggle. It was a struggle for me.
No,
at the time.
wait, leave him alone.
Conflicting patterns, 4 to 10.
Why am I finding this so funny?
It's because
Stranger Things originally named.
Oh, shit.
Montauk.
Got one. That's what we're saying.
Damn. Well, Mike's off. Wait. That's so funny.
It's killing me. I'm like, they look like they're having way more fun on these like interviews than what they are in the show. And speaking of like all the marketing and stuff, tell me why these Duffer Brothers, tell me why they're giving people like a whole long ass list of movies and stuff to watch, like old movies that relate or like I guess were inspiration for part of the show. Like one of them was Home Alone. Okay, a movie I'm sure we've all seen a bajillion times, especially since it's now the holiday season. And I'm like, you wanted me to rewatch the entire movie of Home Alone for that one scene where they like set up a cute little trap so that Nancy can shoot the Demogorgon with a tracker? I had to watch the entire movie of Home Alone for that? What? Like, I get it, you got inspiration from other films, I understand that, but this was not necessary. But maybe that's just me, I don't know. I know a lot of people eat that up, but I'm like, I understand like hearing where the inspiration comes from, but I'm not gonna watch an entire film, you know, like 10 films just because there are gonna be little bits and pieces of inspiration from those films in the season. So 4 episodes, right? And tell me why it only really picked up in the 4th episode. I'm like, we should have, all the first 3 episodes should have been squished into like 1.5. And then all the next, you know, 3 episodes should have been what we got in episode 4. Action, drama, seeing Will be an actual badass instead of crying in the car. Which was awesome to see, by the way. Like, he was really crumpling up all the Demogorgons like pieces of paper. And I'm like, okay, he's locked in. I thought it was gonna take for somebody to die for him to get locked in like that, but I guess seeing Mike almost die in front of his eyes was enough to like trigger him. And I need him to be on that level of energy for the rest of the season. I don't want to see him crybabying. I need him killing everybody. I want him to like not be evil, but like kinda like borderline. Anybody who gets in his way, humans, doesn't matter, Demogorgons, humans, they need to go. Like, I need him to be on demon mode at this point. Like, I need him to be so consumed with the power that he holds and defeating Vecna. Also, Vecna went from looking like the Grinch without fur to now looking like he's one of the cast members of Wicked.
Oh my God! Yeah, get into it!
Let's talk about some of the deaths that need to happen. Or that I want to see happen, because I feel like, but I don't know, I'm like, are they gonna have the balls to kill off main characters? And not like a character that we don't care about. Sorry, because if, you know, certain people die, I'm like, okay, whatever. It has to be like the really beloved characters. You know what I'm saying? Like, Hopper has to go. But I didn't like the way Hopper was ready to go out. That was stupid. I was like, I need him to die in action for a reason. You know what I'm saying? I think Mike has to die simply because both Eleven and Will are obsessed with him. So I'm like, he just has to die because of that reason. Like, neither of them can have him. I think Steve's death would be a sad one for a lot of people. Yeah. I feel like those are like the main people that I'm like, they gotta go. You know what I mean? And I feel like they're the ones that make sense to die. And also, them breaking up the season into like, what, 3 different parts essentially is stupid. I hate that Netflix keeps doing this. They did it with Wednesday where they were like, okay, 4 episodes and then come back in a month for the next 4. And I was like, you're not giving me anything to stick around. Also, if it was like first 8 episodes and then next 8 episodes, like 16 episodes altogether, that would make more sense. That I could get more on board with, but this whole like 4 episodes and then 4 more later, what? No, absolutely not. Like, my stance are either release the entire season at once, okay, or release it weekly, which I think for how lackluster these first 4 episodes were, I think they should have released them weekly. Because I think it would have gained the momentum of people hoping that the next episode was going to be better than the last. Whereas when you get to binge it all at once, you just realize how lackluster the first 3 episodes were compared to the 4th one. And they're gonna show the last episode in the US and Canada in some theaters, which is crazy. I'm like, wow, we're really trying to milk it for everything it's worth, huh? Which I'm like, they're probably gonna have a spin-off of this damn show or something. Like, they're gonna try and like bring it back. I don't know. The amount of money they've probably made off this show over the years will make them figure something out, I'm sure. But yeah, the fact that they're putting it in theaters, I'm like, if it's not good, if the last episode is not good enough to be in theaters, it's gonna be such a waste. I'm not gonna see it in theaters, by the way. There's just no way. There's no way. One, I'm like, why am I paying for a Netflix subscription to then go to my local theater to watch it and pay money to go see it there? I mean, you do you. If you want that like theater experience, sure. Okay, now let me talk about the good stuff. So, I like Derek. I think he's kind of funny. I liked Erica's scene where she has to take out her ex-best friend with a needle because that bitch didn't want to eat the pie. Like, girl, I told you. Erica's always a delight whenever I see her. I love her. I'll also say I like that Karen really, she locked in. Okay, obviously she was, she was off the wine a little bit. But when Holly ran to her and is like, Mom, there's a monster. Also, I was like, how did she not hear all that noise? 2 rooms down. Girl, I know you got the radio kicked up a little bit. I know you're off the wine, but you didn't hear all that noise. Something came crashing through the ceiling and threw your daughter against a bookcase. And you didn't hear any of that? Okay, crazy work. Crazy work. But I will say hiding in the bath, it was like a quiet place for a second. Them hiding in the bathtub was smart. And, our girl did lock in. She got a few hits in there with the Demogorgon before it almost took her out. But, yeah, probably one of Karen's best moments. Okay, I honestly can't think of, the other things that I liked about this season so far. I guess it was very few and far between. Yeah, I just felt like it was kind of a slow start. I was like, there's only 4 episodes left, and I'm like, it took 4 episodes for us to get to Will being a badass. That's a problem. I'm like, they could have shortened, you know what I'm saying? Will turning into a badass should have started happening in episode 2. 2, not 4, 2. But there are still 4 episodes left, so we'll see what happens. I don't know. So far, I'm not having high hopes because of how the first 4 episodes have gone. And I think, like I said, the deaths that should happen, I don't know if they're going to, and I don't know if they have the balls to kill off that many main characters. It's not Game of Thrones, so probably not. But hopefully the ending will not be like Game of Thrones, a complete dumpster fire. Because even though the show has not been running for 10 years, it's been existing for 10 years. So I hope this was not a waste of time. And Dusty Bun, how do you think the current season is going? Right. Right. So he's not a fan either. What am I doing? I'm losing my mind in here. And this light is like glowing into my eyeballs. It's killing me. I don't know what I'm doing.